All right, so I just want to touch on a few little updates and changes that I did to my Imperial Armored Marauder sets that I have that I've built up a decent little fleet of. And these are just a few little changes that I've done, most of which, actually almost all of which, can be done with pieces in the actual set. So you can make these modifications really easily. None of them are super complicated. They're just little kind of detail tweaks that I like to do to make the set look a little bit cleaner, make it function a little bit better, and just generally little kind of army building tricks and techniques that I like to use in order to kind of get the most out of these vehicles when it comes to that. So to start off with, I'll set the stage. So this one right here is pretty much about as close to the stock model as I have. It's not really updated. It's got a few of the basic updates that I just build in when I'm actually building them. But other than the actual like small little don't add this piece, don't add that piece, it's pretty much a stock model compared to this one, which has really all the upgrades and updates that I give to them when I'm building them. So essentially what it breaks down to, we can run through these from back to front essentially, is there are a few areas where I think this, which is honestly a very solid model, comes up a little bit short. And starting from the rear, one of those big ones is this crew compartment with the turret on the back. So the original base model has the actual rotating panel, this little 4x4 rotating piece on the bottom, and then has a big old half-cylinder transparent piece leading up to the top with a little chair in it. I don't actually have that completed on this base model because I built it without it, but my problem with that is it has like this giant circular window for no real reason. It kind of takes away from the functionality because you can't move the turret 360 degrees. So the easy fix to that is you just take this little bottom rotating part, take it from the bottom, put it up top, and then use some type of piece, in this case, a little gray 2x2, or in this case, one of those little midpoint extender pieces. And you can actually, this piece right here actually does come with the set. This piece I had to get from my own pieces, but this one is a spare piece if you don't wind up doing the turret, so you can have this piece from the set. So all you need to do essentially is just add that to the top and then throw your turret on top of there, and boom, that gives you 360 degrees, no weird little window in here, no need to worry about having access to the crew compartment. It's very simple, very effective, I think. And yeah, like I said, you can do that all with pieces that are just in the set. The next thing I did is another just very simple modification to the turret itself. So it comes with these two little stud shooters, which I think are cool enough for playability, but if you're looking for more realism, the easy thing to do is take these two black lightsaber hilts and just put them where those studs are inside the turret. Super simple to do, super straightforward, but it makes a world of difference when it comes to how it looks. It looks a lot more accurate, and it just has a generally cleaner look in my opinion. I don't mind the stud shooters in terms of look, but for how simple of a fix this is, it's really, in my opinion, worth it. You get one extra lightsaber hilt, black lightsaber hilt, with the set itself, so you just need to source one extra one. Or if you prefer this look over having these little side cannons, you can even take out the side cannon barrels and just use that little lightsaber hilt. Either way, like I say, I just prefer the look of it, and it very much, I think, has a much more accurate, much more clean look to it. So from there, we'll then move into the crew compartment, where I've done kind of just what makes sense, I think, in terms of having this be a troop transport. They give you like little seats. You get two seats that actually like fit in here in this little center crew compartment. I think it's a lot simpler if you just take those out. You can kind of stagger your troopers. In this case, I got snow troopers in there. And doing this, you can fit 6 easily in here, including this guy I got back here in the rear. And like I say, those guys can just go right in there. It's a little hard to access just because there's not much finger room in there, but you can have easily 6 troopers fit in this hole, and it's very simple to do because you're not even adding extra parts. You're just not adding in the chairs and seats that usually go in there. Once again, it's another thing that this base model here, I built without it, so you can't really see the contrast, but if you know the set, you know what I'm talking about. It's a cool little feature, and I think it adds a bit of playability for the model. I just don't prefer because it very much limits the crew space you have. Next up from there, we move up to the front. This is one of the bigger changes I have, but I think it just makes a world of difference with how the front looks. So compared between the two, you'll probably notice that there's a whole different windshield design. So on my little custom mock-up here, you'll notice the windshield and side panels have actually like red transparent bricks in them, kind of giving them that like really smooth look, kind of similar to the AT-AT in that way, like with that red transparent look. Compare that to the open viewing slot that you have with the original model. It's just, I just think it makes a world of difference. I think it looks really good. And the best part about it is you can actually do it without having to source any of these little bricks on your own. So the set itself comes with a lot of these little bricks hidden in a lot of different little areas. One good example is like that one back there, which I didn't have to remove here, but if you have a little 2x1 brick, you can replace that one, get a spare from there. They're tucked throughout the model. There's a few that are used inside the crew compartment, a few used in other areas that they're really not necessary for the look. So all you need to do is source those out of this build and just add them right in here. Another area they're used is right behind here on the dash. Let me see if the base model has it. Does not, but yeah, so right here on this portion, this little second pair of studs in the middle, that one is supposed to have an extra 2x2 set. Sorry about that, dropped my brick. But like I say, if you just switch that out with any other piece, or you do like I do here and just go rogue, I guess, and have no piece there, which doesn't affect the build at all. It's still held in by two positions, got 2 points of contact on there, works fine. That looks fine, and get that extra piece to add to the windshield. Additionally, if you can't source all those pieces, another easy thing to do is take a little 1x1 round studs in red and add those on the top layer of your side windows. I think that looks just as good. I think it actually adds a little bit of interesting texture to it. And those little red 1x1 studs, you can't get all of them as extras in this set, but you can get a lot of extra little 1x1s in this set. So if you're building an army of these, you'll have plenty of these little red transparent pieces with which to work on this modification with. Finally, the last thing I personally recommend is utilizing this method for marking your different vehicles and your different units and stuff. It's not something that I think is necessarily accurate to the source material, but it's just a little thing I like to do to kind of make it that extra level of realism and kind of give it a little bit of organization to my army that I'm trying to build out with these. So that is to essentially use little 1x1 bricks in the front, alternating shapes. In this case, with these little quarter circles, if you just kind of turn them one angle or another, you can represent different units, maybe at the company level or battalion level. But what's really easy is that you can put these little 1x1 studs at different places along this front little hood of the vehicle here. And so if I want to say that, let's say this vehicle here is first squad, and this vehicle here is second squad, and then this vehicle here is third squad, all the same platoon, because their little quarter circles are all faced the same way. It makes it super easy to store them, to know exactly like which unit they're coming from, that kind of stuff. And then just, I think it makes them look a bit cooler too, to have that little bit of individuality, that little bit of extra marking. And personally, I like the realism that it has, in the sense that, you know, if these are genuine military vehicles, even in the Star Wars universe, there's got to be some form of marking on them for them to tell unit from unit, vehicle from vehicle. And so that just very simple little trick. You get a lot of spare 1x1 tiles and 1x1 pieces in these sets. So however you want to do your marking standard, I think it looks really good, and it's a real easy way to keep them kind of separated out, keep your unit straight. Just a real fun little addition to add. But yep, that pretty much concludes it with the customizations I did. None of them, like I said, are that hard. They're all pretty straightforward, and most of them you can do with the pieces in the set. Feel free to give them a try. If you want, let me know what you think or where you think I could do better. I'll be happy to try them on my models as well.